So today I'm going to talk about the final result of my animation system. So the idea is that I basically took all the bones and I packaged them into the SGF file, which is the binary um, extension or name that I use for my files. And the basic idea is that I deconstruct the scene graph in the converter by assigning IDs to like the bone or the nodes and giving them the ID number of their parent, and then I reconstruct that when I import. So basically, it just runs through all the nodes and then adds. If the parent is there, then it adds it. If it's not, it waits until the parent's been inserted and inserts it. So one thing that I just want to quickly talk about is the actual controller for the animations. So the animation controller is swappable, which is pretty interesting. So I can, the basic idea behind the controller is that it controls the time to determine what to render or what to interpolate to, um, the speed, if it's paused, and things like that. So, and I can move that controller from one to the other, and if the controller goes over the time that the animation plays, it will just stick to the last frame until the timer resets and it loops. So, and I kind of went with the factory method, so I basically extract the animation controller um, uh, from the skeleton, because the skeleton has things like start and end time, like what the frame rate is and things like that. Um, so, um, but it doesn't have to be that way, it just made sense. But then I can go apply that controller to something else, which is what makes this so powerful. Um, and so I'm just going to show you the basics of what I have right now. So when I run it, there's currently the humanoid and the teddy bear, um, and there's one animation, two animation, three animation, four animation, and then I can also swap the animation on one of the controllers. I'll show you that in a second. So it's basically taking the SGF files and then extracting the animation data out of there and then rendering the actual skeleton. I went with kind of um, with line rendering. It was just simpler, and it made more sense to me. Uh, and so I can control the animation speed and things like that. So I basically took the animation controller of the running biped, I think, yeah, the humanoid, and I basically just assigned a couple keys to it. So if you want to reverse the animation of and that's the only one that I attached it to. The other ones are running their own controllers, so they're separate. Um, if you want to reverse the animation, you just hit backslash and it reverses the animation of the humanoid running on the side. I can reverse it again. If you want to speed up or slow down, to speed up, it's the square bracket, the left square bracket on the keyboard. It's right next to the backslash. And so I've sped up the animation, and then I can reset the speed back to what it was before. By pressing the right square bracket. And then I just hit, if I hit dot or period on the keyboard, it freezes the animation and then it can keep going. And the idea is that it actually interpolates between um, the different frames. So I have a timer that's running, and then if it happens to be between frames, it will interpolate to that location. I sampled the animation at 30 frames a second, which is kind of high, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I can turn it down and still get pretty good results. When I import, it knows everything that it needs to know, so how many keyframes, how long the animation is going to go, each keyframe. Also has a lot of data in it, like what what is the actual time for the keyframe and things like that, and that's how I determine what I need to interpolate to. So, and to show you kind of like what the controller can do, since it's swappable. So I have two, if you press F1 or F2, it swaps out the running animation on the right. And so if I press F2, um, it basically plays the second animation, I believe, for the biped, the humanoid, and F1 plays the running. And so if I say speed up the animation on one, it also affects the other. And so the idea is that because they're both using the same animation controller, the interpolation is the same and things like that. So if I speed up on one and switch rendering to the other, it will also have the same effect. In fact, they're not probably, but they are on the same keyframe. So if it's on keyframe or time, say 5,000 milliseconds, then that's what both of them will. Which I've stored as an int to make sure that I don't get any float point errors and things like that. Um, so this is what I have. I hope you enjoyed the video and have a nice day.